Hello, good evening, and welcome in. Hope everybody's having a fantastic weekend. It's time to go racing. So, we are here on behalf of Sector 7 Racing, and it is their Toyota GR Cup round number 3, and this is split number 2, our Pro-Am division. I will be your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming, and this will be a family-friendly broadcast for everybody out there, especially those parents out there. We are going to see a dual set of races here today, and we will explain a little bit more here in just a moment's time. Would like to thank everybody for tuning in. Again, welcome in, and I hope everybody's ready for a good night of racing action here from Sector 7 Racing Toyota GR Cup. This is round 3, and for round 3 we head down the line to South America. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Our series rules go as follows here. These are our general rules for the series. Boost is off. Our slipstream is real. Damage is set to light, meaning that it will sit for 30 seconds and then go away. Grip reduction is real on and off the racetrack. The race finish delay is 150 seconds. The shortcut penalties are turned on weak. Our pit line infractions are turned on, and the flag rules are turned on. In our sprint races this season, the grid order is based off a 10-minute qualifying run, and it is a grid start with a false start check, 1 times tire and fuel consumption, 12 liters per second for refuel rate, and they start with 50 liters of fuel and mandatory soft tires for qualifying. When we head to the feature race a little bit later on here this evening, it is going to be a little bit different. The grid order is based off of the results of the sprint race, except the top 7 are inverted. So first will go to 7th, 7th will go to 1st, so on and so forth all the way through. It is a rolling start for the grid start. It's 2 times tire and 2 times fuel. It is 3 liters per second refuel rate, and the drivers will start with a full tank of fuel, and it will be 2 different of the racing compound tires required in the feature race, meaning that each of the drivers are going to be required to make a mandatory pit stop for a different compound tire at some point throughout the race. So that's a little bit about how the series goes down, especially if you're new and just tuning in. So on screen in front of us here now is, of course, our series schedule. And for some reason, whoops, that one didn't update properly. So let us update that right live in front of your faces, everyone. I do apologize for that. For some reason, it did not auto adjust to our proper graphic. Alright. Streamer magic, gotta love it. We do apologize. So as you can see here now, in the proper graphic in front of you, it is our 3rd week of racing, which means it is round 3, and we are heading to Interlagos in Brazil. It is going to be a Group 4 sprint with a Group 3 feature race here today, and we'll talk about that just here a little bit momentarily. Let's talk about our standings here for the Pro-Am division. I don't know if this is actually going to be correct either, so we are just going to double check that this graphic is correct here, live right in front of everybody again. For some reason, alright, there we go. Now we got some appropriate standings. Don't have. I'm a noob. Alright, so in first place is NVR Maverick. In second place is RWB's J-Rod. And in third place is Fuller Bunch. Sitting in fourth place is Dipshy with Fuzzy Bunny in fifth position. We do have Rob in sixth place with Lone Wolf Racing in seventh. We've got Tom the Tech in 8th position, we've got Bud in 9th position, and we've got Nuke sitting in 10th position, Turbo's in 11th, and so on and so forth, just because I can't see my graphic apparently. But as you can see, most of our racers have now put some time into the racetrack here, and we should be about close to ready to start time here actually, so I should probably do a little switch. All right, we're just going to wait for the drivers to check in here, and we'll make sure they're ready. So let's talk about what we're going to have going down here for the first part of our event here today. And I just want to make sure everything's still working properly here. Fantastic, we got everything going. All right, our sprint rules for this evening are as follows. It is the Toyota GR86 Group 4 one-make car here this evening. It is a 10-minute qualifying run. It will be a 14-lap sprint race, and it will be fastest first. It will be a grid start with a false start check. BOP is on, and brake balance is acceptable in the sprint. And of course, racing soft tires are required. They are on 1 times tire and fuel. It is a 12 liter per second refuel rate. They start with 50 liters per second. It is afternoon and a 1 times time multiplier. So with that being said, we're just going to check on race control here real quick. And see if our drivers are ready. Again, welcome in. If you're just tuning in, I am your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming, and we are here on behalf of Sector 7 Racing and their Toyota GR Cup. This is round 3, and this is our Split 2 Pro-Am division, and in my opinion, the spiciest division of them all. We've had 2 really great races here so far this season, and I suspect that this one is going to be no different this week as the drivers continue to get more and more comfortable with each other. It is going to become more and more spicy. All right, I'm just tuning into my radio for a second. All right, we're missing 1 driver, but this driver did tell me that they might not make it till the feature, so we aren't going to hold our racers up too long here tonight. We are going to send it. We're going to make sure everybody's checked in before we send it. Let's just, do our due diligence here. All right, everybody's on track. And while this gets set up, we will switch everything over so everybody can see what is happening. Again, let's get ready for some great racing action here. It'll be 10-minute qualifying run, and then we will get into a 14-lap sprint race followed shortly thereafter. And we're just going to let these drivers all get out on track here. Drop that. Turn on that. That didn't drop. There, hey, there we go. All right. So, as you can see, the racers are just heading out of pit lane here. We're going to let them get out on track, get themselves sorted out across the lap timing lines here, and we're going to go racing. So, it looks like Turbo's the first one out. So, we're going to jump on Turbo here. He's got a driver right there up in his business, and it looks like it is Fuller Bunch. Yes, Fuller Bunch is just going to settle in and behind here. We're not sure who he is. It's Turbo. Alright, we'll stay on with Turbo. Alright, so this is qualifying. So what we're seeing right now is what we call the outlap. For those of us that are unfamiliar with what an outlap is, this is our first lap out of pit lane, which means it doesn't count officially towards our qualifying time. This is an opportunity for the racers to try and warm up tires, warm up brakes, and get their car up to what we call race pace or speed, so that when they cross the start-finish line here this next time around, they will be in the optimal racing speed heading into turn 1 and 2. And then, of course, we will be under official qualifying, which we're going to see here just shortly. So we've seen a tidy little pass under qualifying there between Nuke and Turbo. And as we head through the final corner here, this is what we're talking about, getting a good setup here. You want to get a good run up this back straight. It's a very long, curvy straight, but full speed section here. You're not lifting at all up until about 120 meter point, maybe a little further back depending on the car here. So now we are officially under qualifying conditions, and Nuke is leading the charge here. So Nuke will take things away here for us from the Sector 7 Racing Toyota GR Cup round number 3, split number 2. Let's get racing. Alright, so Nuke comes on down here, and he has Turbo right close in behind, so slipstream is going to factor in here a little bit so these guys can stay relatively close to each other, not let the dirty air affect their racing too much or their lines. then they might be able to benefit from using a little bit of tow from the car in front here as well. So we'll see if that plays into effect here as Turbo and Nuke continue to go around. We're going to stay right here with our front two, and then we'll just go through the field as they all come across the line their first time around here, and then it'll become a jumbled mess, and we'll just do the best we can to keep up with what's going on. Alright, so it's Nuke here, and he is moving right now, but it looks like Turbo got a good run through the mid-sector there, closed up a little tiny bit on him here, so I think we're going to see some pretty close lap times here. 10 minutes, we should see 5 or 6 full crisp laps here, I think, from our Toyota GR86 Group 4 drivers here, and we'll talk about our feature race after, of course, our sprint race is done. So this is only one half of our event, keeping in mind is it'll be a 15, maybe 16 minute sprint race once our qualifying session is over. It'll be over before you know it. Alright, so Nuke is coming out of the final corner. He gets a nice tidy corner, but so does Turbo in behind. So let's see as they come around here, the little kink, and set up for the start finish line run here. So as they head down, are we gonna, yep, you can see Turbo try to stay as tucked in the line as Nuke, but it looks like Nuke got a better run out of the final corner there. So Nuke comes through, is going to obviously be in pole position. Turbo stays in second, whereas SoCal's gonna stay in third. Fuller Bunch moves up into P2. Rob moves up into P4. We got J-Rod being passed by, I'm not sure who it was in front there, but stays in 8th place. Bud goes up into 7th. Sheriff goes up into P2 here. What else do we got? We got Rough and Tough coming through next. Alright, we got 3 drivers left here. Goes up into 2nd place. Dipshy coming through in the Fun Dip car. Love the Fun Dip car. Moves up into 10th place, and Ruzi coming through here, our final driver out. And typical, we see this from Ruzi every time. We do qualifying. Tom the Tech, our current pole sitter here right now, but we do know that it's going to be Nuke and Turbo, the first two to come through, so we're going to go jump back on them here for a minute. But Tom the Tech currently sitting in pole position with a 1 minute 40.253 here on track, so that's a really good time here in those Group 4 cars. Could potentially see that dip into the 39s here, yeah, for sure. But a spicy little racetrack here. Ruzi comes through with a 140.966. It's going to be good enough there for 6th place here at the time being. So less than a second separating the top 6 for sure here, maybe even further down, but we'll have to wait and see as our competitors are coming around for another round of times here. Ooh, and Turbo gets a good run there on Nuke through that final corner, so that should actually benefit him there with a little bit of tow perhaps as they come around the final little kink. And we're going to see if anybody gets an improvement on time here. Nuke is in 5th currently. Turbo's in 8th. Nuke does not get a job up, but Turbo does, and he moves himself up just ahead of Nuke by less than a 1/10 of a second here. So where is Sheriff right now? Sheriff's delivery isn't loaded up. Oh yeah, no, it's there. I see some stuff. Alright, Fuzzy Bunny coming through. No improvements there either. 3rd and 4th place for Sheriff and Fuzzy Bunny in order we said it. We got SoCal up that front straight. Where is everybody? We just had Dipshy go through. Alright, well, let's go to Tom the Tech here, our current pole sitter, as he's a little stuck in traffic here at the moment. He's going to look up underneath. I believe that's J-Rod. He's in beside there right now. But it's going to put him on the outside coming into this flowing corner, and that's not going to be ideal, but let's see how he hangs out there. I know he hangs it out there good, goes in real deep into the corner, gets a much better run, and is able to easily clear J-Rod. And it doesn't look like he affects J-Rod's positioning too much there. We've got Ruzi improving his time there, but still only sitting in P7 right now as well. But we're going to stay with our current pole sitter here right now, our provisional pole sitter, I guess we can call it, as they come around the final couple corners. And ooh, it's a big slide, and he has to gather it up there, and he's going to have to, of course, get out of the way. J-Rod does a great job, great recognition right there by the 2 drivers, and that is not going to be an improvement there from our pole sitter. So let's find where J-Rod is. I don't know where J-Rod is. Where's J-Rod? Cannot see him. Alright, Nuke does improve his time, and that's good enough for P3 as he comes through there. So Rob improving his time as well, so does Fuller Bunch. Fuller Bunch actually moving himself up into second place. They're now only a sliver of a tenth in behind. Sheriff and J-Rod also improving their times there. Tom the Tech brings it into pit lane. We've got Rough and Tough here. Where is Rough? And let's keep with Fuller Bunch here. He is only 0.12 seconds off of the provisional pole sitter and currently 2/10 up on the fastest lap in qualifying here. So we may have picked a good driver to potentially sit on here. Let's see how this goes for Fuller Bunch here. And he's been very competitive here so far this season in Split 2 for sure. He's definitely one of the notable drivers in my eyes so far broadcasting this particular division. He's not the only one, obviously, but it's very early in the season. Ooh, that might be a penalty there. He definitely went really, really wide there, and oh boy, he's got a little bit of dirt on the tires there. He managed to get the car up, and there it is, a 1 second penalty, and he's going to be like, yep, nope. We're just going to lock, stock, and redo it here again. So now we've got Rough and Tough here, who's only barely 3/10, just under 3/10 of a second in behind our provisional pole sitter here. So let's sit with Rough and Tough here with about 1:40 seconds remaining here in qualifying. So it'll be enough time for these guys to get around and get one more crack at it here as they continue around the racetrack. And I guess we'll see, you know, it's kind of the last lap dash here for most of these racers as they come around to the start-finish line. So he is up a tenth and a half on his personal best time, which is going to be an improvement on his time, but it's still only good enough for P3 if it stands like that. So we'll have to see how the run or the final corner went for him here. And he does have one of the Flying Fox Racing Crew drivers in behind there, but a little too far out for tow, I think. They're taking a different line as well, so not sure if that hurts or helps him there, but nonetheless deciding to take his own way through. And it is an improvement, 140.5, but it's only good enough to put him in within 0.12 of second place there, and only 2.5 tenths of Tom the Tech. So it was a good improvement there from Rough and Tough. All right, who else we got? Got Sheriff here. Sheriff is on a purple sector there through sector number 1. Let's sit with Sheriff here as he is currently 0.3 of a second off of our provisional pole sitter here, and in a little bit of traffic here at the moment. This is a tough spot to be in here, so of course trying to be extremely courteous, and J-Rod's giving plenty of space there on the outside for Sheriff to get tucked in inside. Ruzi improving, moving up into P4, actually knocking Sheriff down a spot there by 2/100ths of a second, so by a sliver of time. And unfortunately here for Sheriff, he got hung up here with a little bit with, I believe, J-Rod. J-Rod gave him lots of courtesy there, but Sheriff was unable to make it stick and make it happen, I think, safely. So unfortunately here for Sheriff, I don't think that's going to be what he was looking for here on this final lap. But we'll stick with Sheriff and I believe J-Rod. I believe that's J-Rod. Ooh-wee! Getting a little spicy. These Toyota GR86s are spicy little Group 4 cars. They have a lot of torque, turbo improving, Rob improving as well, keeping turbo up in the top half of the field here. And this is the final lap indicator here. So when everybody comes across start-finish line here, it is going to be the end of qualifying. And Bud doesn't improve, makes an improvement there as well. Who else we got? Oh, we got somebody sliding through the grass there. That doesn't look very fun. We got Rough and Tough coming through. Not an improvement there. We got Ruzi still at speed here. Ooh, half second penalty, so that's probably the end of that run for him. Alright, I believe that is all of our drivers here, all of our qualifiers. So we have a couple that jumped into pit lane here, so we'll have to wait and see exactly how that order lines up. Sometimes it changes the order when the drivers go into pit lane, so we'll wait until qualifying officially is over and go take a snap of the official qualifying results. And then we'll get the racers underway as quickly as possible so we can try to keep the schedule nice and tidy here this evening. Great job here from Tom the Tech, though. He will be our pole sitter here in round number 3 by 1/10 of a second and a little bit more, 140.253. So very good lap there from Tom the Tech, Fuller Bunch in second place. We got Rough and Tough in third position, Ruzy in fourth, Sheriff Doofy in fifth. We've got Nuke in sixth, Turbo in seventh, Fuzzy Bunny in eighth, SoCal in ninth. And that's it. That's all it's going to show us. So we're going to have to come here and do what we do. Rob in 10th position, Dipshy in 11th position. We got Bud in 12th place and J-Rod in 13th position. So it'll be interesting to see here how this shapes out. As 14 laps is going to be full send and should be interesting. We are hosting a lot of it here as well, so that's what you guys are seeing here. All right, so qualifying, it was closer. We have our top 10 in the 140. So our top 10 separated by 6/10, a little over 6/10 of a second here. So if that's any indicator how the race is going to go, this should be a little spicy. We should probably see some paint being swapped. We'll probably see a little door banging happening early on in the race. And I think that we're in for a spicy little GR86 sprint race here. So good luck to our racers. And sending it. Alright, so it is a false start check at the grid start, so the drivers do need to wait for the green flag to drop here, so they will be held until that green flag drops. Any driver that jumps will be penalized. Got 3, 4, 5, kick them tires, light them fires, let's go racing, green, 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 and the drivers are off, and it looks like our 4th place driver gets a good launch here, and as we head into turns 1 and 2, this is where the fun begins. The next half a dozen corners here very early on in the race are going to be very telling of what we're going to see for a race here. We're going to see patient, calm racing, get a little bit of a touch there, and Fuller is absolutely spun out there, and oh yeah, that was not good for Fuller there. Let's see if we can take another look at that there. He does have some front end damage there as well. I don't think that is substitute. Oh, and a little bit of contact there from the 111 car, and that just absolutely sent him out on those cold racing tires right into the barrier there, and eesh, hate to see it, hate to see it. Alright, so Fuller's back on track. He's just making his way here. He's got some work to do here, and I'm not sure who our other car is here, but it looks like Sheriff also with some damage early on here as well. So with 2 drivers on the back foot very early on. I didn't see what happened with Sheriff there, but it is Tom the Tech and Ruzy in 1st and 2nd place here. So Ruzy seems to have benefited from that really good launch on the race start there. I believe it was our 4th place driver we seen get that good launch. We got Nuke up into 3rd place. We got SoCal up into 4th. Turbo sitting in 5th here. We've got Fuzzy Bunny in 6th position with Rob in 7th. We've got Rough and Tough here in 8th place. Bud in 9th position with J-Rod now up into P10. Dipshy still in 11th position. Sheriff is about 5 seconds in behind here in 12th, and Fuller's about 3 seconds in behind here. Half-second penalty. These drivers are going to keep pushing those cars. That racing damage has gone away, and they'll see what they can do here. There is always positions to be gained. It was very early on in the race at least, and we're not going to speculate on who's at fault for what or anything like that. We have stewards that handle that post-race. We'll leave that to them if needed. So it is Tom the Tech in 1st and Ruzy very close behind in 2nd place, 3/4 of a second separating our 1st and 2nd place drivers. Nuke is 1.7 seconds in behind in 3rd place, trying to break the toe from SoCal in 4th place, just over a second now that gap, so he's kind of right on the edge. Fuzzy Bunny just in the slipstream here, and he has a whole pack in behind, so this is going to help him continue to stay close in on SoCal. It's kind of singled out right now, so let's sit with Fuzzy Bunny here for a minute, as I believe that this pack in the middle here is going to start to close in on SoCal and Nuke as we get through the middle part of this racetrack here. As long as they don't accordion each other up and everybody's on point here, we're going to see the drivers get very close together here, I think, by the back straight. So everybody's just moving and grooving. This is, again, a difficult car to handle. It's very torquey and it's very light, so it likes to slide and it likes to try and spin out under acceleration, especially on the curbing or in the marbles on the outside of the racing line on the racetrack. It can get a little bit dicey for our racers there, and you can see half a second now separating SoCal and Fuzzy Bunny here, so that a little bit of a train that we got going on here is closing these drivers back into that podium battle, and you can see Nuke is trying to continue to separate himself there from the fourth place driver SoCal, let him have to deal with that backpack, and boy, that backpack is closing quickly here. Turbo just settled in behind right now in sixth place with Rough and Tough 1.2 seconds in behind. He's got Rob tucked in with Bud tucked in behind him. J-Rod's tucked in behind him. Dipshy is just tucked in behind them here as well in 11th place. And Sheriff here closing the gap. 4.2 seconds here in Fuller Bunch. Mistake made perhaps. 9.3 seconds. A little mistake made, I think. Maybe just overdriving the car right now. A little frustrated perhaps. But nonetheless, the racing's got to continue on here. So it is Tom the Tech 1.2 seconds up the road. Ruzy's doing everything he can to try and keep up with Tom the Tech here. But Tom the Tech looking like he has good pace here again. Very early on in round 3. Nuke with a little wobble there as he comes around turn number 3. And it looked like Fuzzy Bunny got a little bit wide there out of the corner as well. But Nuke doing a pretty good job holding off the charge of SoCal. SoCal's creeping back in, but I mean, Fuzzy Bunny has absolutely closed in on SoCal here. He's definitely not quite in striking distance yet, but he is right there, tucked into the slipstream, under braking there, a little braking wobble, and that's going to slow him down just a tiny little bit there on that charge. Gives SoCal just a smidgen of breathing room, and Turbo now 1.4 seconds in behind. He's feeling not too much pressure, but Rough and Tough right there, 0.6 of a second with Rob right in behind. J-Rod's falling off that pack just a tiny little bit here. He's got Bud in 10th place, and Dipshy is all over DMP Bud here right now. And a mistake, unfortunately, I believe, made right there from Dipshy as he was battling with Bud. A good defense from Bud there from what I could see, and that slowed him down in the corner there a little bit. He overshot. So now that's allowing Sheriff to close back in here, and a wide exit right there from Dipshy as well, and Sheriff should be able to close in a little bit more here as he continues his charge back to the pack here. Fuller Bunch 10.2 seconds here, losing pace a little bit, but pacing now with the back end of the pack here. So let's get back up into the lead. Let's make sure we're not missing anything here. We're getting close. We might have a three-way battle for P3 here potentially, but let's get into the fourth place car because this is where the immediate battle is, as we have SoCal from Flying Fox Racing and Fuzzy Bunny, I believe, from Sector 7 battling out for fourth place here right now. And there we go. We're going to see the move to the inside, and are we going to see a defense? We're going to see a hard outside defense here, and it looks like there was contact there, but there was not. There was good awareness by the racers right there. Lots of respect given. It's going to be a nice clean pass between the two drivers there. Fuzzy Bunny moving up into P4. We got tongue twisters going on here today, and boy, he's being re-challenged here very quickly though by SoCal. So SoCal's closing back in. We got a little battle there for sixth place in behind between Turbo and Rough and Tough right now too. We're kind of keeping our eye on that in the background here, and depending on how much these two continue to battle here, this is going to be good for our third place driver Nuke. But no immediate aggressive fight back here right at the moment coming from SoCal, so he might be maybe looking to make a move into turn 1 and 2 here. We'll have to see if that is the case. He's going to need a really good run out of the final corner here, make sure he gets tucked right in behind, and it looks like he does get a pretty good run here. And if he can get tucked right in behind, he can actually give him a little bump there, and that'll actually close him in towards the third place driver a little quicker here as well. So do we see a little bit of teamwork, or do we see a little bit of action between our 4th and 5th place drivers here? And I should say the same here for our 6th and 7th place drivers as well. We're going to kind of try to keep an eye on both of this here, and we're going to see a defense coming from Fuzzy Bunny, not too surprised, but we are going to see a move coming from Rough and Tough here on Turbo, but Turbo's going to have the optimum line and turn in the second half of the corner, and he does manage to make that defense stick. Let's go take a second look at that as we kind of missed it all there. Great job there from Turbo. No panic, just kept his position, kept his line, knowing that if he could stay there on the outside, he had the inside going into the next corner, manages to get himself right back out in front. So that was a great job right there from Turbo to defend that position, but he's under attack here again from Rough and Tough, and the NVR driver is going to get it done here. So Rough and Tough moving up into 6th position here, and Turbo temporarily, but not in immediate response. So we see a couple positions in the mid-pack changing out here, but for the most part, pretty good, hard, clean racing so far. Tom the Tech in the lead. Ruzi 1.7 seconds in behind, a half-second penalty. Not ideal. Nuke's going to be able to close in a little bit here, but has 2.9 seconds in behind. Fuzzy Bunny now 1.49 seconds in behind, and still playing defense here right now on SoCal, which is not necessarily going to bode well for all of them. As you can see, Rough and Tough and Turbo closing in, and if I'm not mistaken, we got Rob just off in the background there, starting to close in here as well too. So, ooh, things are getting interesting. We love it, absolutely love it. But it is Fuzzy Bunny here holding the charge in 4th place here. He's got SoCal tucked right in behind. SoCal's been very patient here so far. The race is far, far from over. Lots of race left to go here. We're not even halfway through the sprint race yet. We've seen some great racing. You've seen Turbo just make a little break of the slipstream there for a second. Turbo not looking maybe to make that move yet, but we do see the defense here again coming from Fuzzy Bunny. SoCal tried to stick it out there on the outside, tried to get it done, but he couldn't get that inside corner, and he's going to have to set up another attack there as a defense here from Fuzzy Bunny again. And good racing right now. Rough and Tough in 6th place after getting that position from Turbo. A nice little healthy battle between them over the last lap. Rob here in 8th place trying to close in on that battle. We got J-Rod now up into 9th. We've got Sheriff in 10th place, so has managed to get around Dipshy and Bud here, and now closing in on J-Rod. Bud here in 11th place has about 1.2 seconds Dipshy, who has a half-second penalty, which means Fuller Bunch is closing in at 8.2. So slowly but surely, Fuller Bunch is falling into the rhythm here and starting to close in on this pack. Tom the Tech is doing much of a repeat of what we've seen from round 1 here in the sprint race. He took off real hot to trot real early on, open up the gap as much as he can, and hopefully it's good enough when the tires start to break down at the end of the race that the other drivers haven't maybe saved or managed to keep them a little bit better and close back in. But it seems like he's playing that same strategy here again. In round number 3, Fuzzy Bunny still holding on to P4 here from SoCal right now. Rough and Tough and Turbo here in 6th and 7th place. Very, very close in behind here now as well. It is really anybody's game right now between 4th through 8th place. Safe bets. Definitely a safe bet that these positions can change a few more times here yet before the end of this race. Let's jump on with Turbo here, as he's the middle car of this massive pack in the mid-pack here right now, and see if we see anything change, anything happen, any chaos coming through turns 1 and 2. Nice clean corners from everybody, so nothing changes there. Sheriff, though, looking like he just got the job done there on J-Rod, and are we going to see an attack coming back from J-Rod here before we go ahead and take another look at that pass? Yes, he is going to move up the inside here heading into turn number 4, and he is going to try and get that position back from Sheriff. Sheriff is in the tough line here. It's a dangerous exit, but he manages to hold the speed, and he's going to get the job done. J-Rod unable to get the re-attack done there, and that just allows Bud to close back in. So let's go ahead and take a peek at that turn 1 and 2 pass there. So Sheriff puts himself on the outside as a semi-defensive line here from J-Rod. Obviously that gives him the optimal line into the corner, but Sheriff just sends it in deep to make sure he holds that outside line. A little over under there from J-Rod. It couldn't quite make it stick, and Sheriff blocks off the running line there. And then of course we've seen the attempted re-attack into turn number 4 there that didn't really work out for him. But J-Rod is still hot to trot there, and we got battles all over the midfield here. A second penalty for Ruzi there again. That's allowing Noob to close in a little bit closer. And if Ruzi doesn't stop annoying the track limit officials and picking up those half seconds here, he's going to find himself in a 7-way battle for second place before the end of the sprint races. We're only halfway through here. SoCal in 5th place, just very patiently still sitting in behind Fuzzy Bunny. We have Rough and Tough and Turbo just in behind, much of the same thing. SoCal makes it look obviously not close enough to make the move there, just maybe trying to get a reaction out of the car in front, also trying to get some clean air to get a better turn in to make sure he does not lose the car in front as well on the exit. He does a great job, keeps the gap nice and tight. Rough and Tough breaks the gap a little bit on Turbo there, so that's great for him if he can tuck in behind SoCal and them now, which SoCal again doing the same thing, just taking a look, trying to force a little bit of a mistake here potentially as well. on Fuzzy Bunny up in front here. So some smart racing right now here from SoCal as he just continues to take a look, maybe try to catch him watching his mirror a little bit here. He just a little over under, and there it is, a little bit of a mistake right there, but Mav rough and tough trying to take advantage, and he shoves himself up the inside there as SoCal tried to make that move up the inside on Fuzzy Bunny, and SoCal's under fire here from Turbo and Rough and Tough here now, but unfortunately for Rough and Tough, unable to get it done. Even a little bit of contact between the two there, and SoCal held strong, white knuckling that steering wheel and keeping that car where he needed it, and he does defend the position. So here we go, the hard racing is starting. We're getting into the last half, the tires are starting to wear down, the drivers are starting to feel comfortable settling into their race cars, and now is when we're going to start seeing the battle start to happen. So SoCal was challenging for 4th place and all of that, and ended up having to defend 5th place from Turbo and Rough and Tough, and somewhere along the way there, Turbo ended up managing to get himself back up into P6, so opportunistic battling right there for Turbo, getting back up into 6th place ahead of Rough and Tough. Rob here losing touch with that battle a little bit, 2.9 seconds in behind. Sheriff hasn't quite lost J-Rod yet here. He's bringing him along for the ride, but they seem to be closing in on Rob up in front there as well. We've J-Rod in 10th. We've got Bud not too far behind right there in 11th. Dipshot is about 4.3 seconds in behind. Fuller is closing in here, so Fuller can see the tail end of the pack here, so to speak. Now Tom the Tech 7 seconds up the road. Nuke now up into 2nd place, and we did say if Ruzi couldn't stay out of penalty trouble, he's going to be in trouble here, and that is most certainly the case. Nuke now up into P2. He's got a 3/4 second gap over Ruzi here right now, and Ruzi now finding himself looking in the rearview mirror full of Toyota Group 86 cars closing in on that final podium position here. Only 0.4 of a second separating him right now, so the pressure is on as Fuzzy Bunny, SoCal, Turbo, Rough and Tough are right there in behind charging. So who is going to try and make the first attempt at a move? Who is going to break the pack up a little bit here now is the bigger question. We're going to sit on board with Fuzzy Bunny here. And we're just going to try and watch this here right now. Rough and Tough is just a little off the backside of this battle here right now. If you can get a really good run into the final corner with that clean air he's got, this could be very beneficial for him here. And boy, this is tight between 2nd through to 7th place here right now. And we expected to see this based off the qualifying session as well. So there's some good racing going on here right now. And none of these drivers are low on fuel. Don't let the game weirdness tease you. So Ruzi's got his signal light on. I'm not sure what that's about. Fuzzy's on the defense. Goes to move up the inside. Ruzi is going to lose that position, so I'm not sure if there's an issue potentially with Ruzi's car here. SoCal gets through, Turbo gets through. Ruzi now down into P6 here. I'm not sure what happened there. A little potential issue perhaps with his car, and that's now going to put Rough and Tough fairly close in there as well. So I'm not sure what we saw there, but it seems to be back on pace here, and J-Rod takes a little bit of a look on Sheriff. They're in 9th place, but unable to get it done as that line is closed off, but he does close in nice and tight there on Sheriff. And oh man, where do we keep watching right now? All right, Turbo under fire here from SoCal. Somehow Turbo ended up in 4th place in all of this, and now he's putting some pressure on Fuzzy Bunny, but SoCal is glued to the bumper of Turbo here right now. And then we have Ruzi and Rough and Tough basically stuck together like glue at the moment here as well. So some juicy battling happening here at Interlagos. This is always a good racetrack. It always provides for good racing. So easy to make a little mistake and give up that time, and all of a sudden you're under pressure again. I think that's what we're seeing a lot of here so far tonight, but great battling happening here right now, and we're just trying not to miss any of it. And ooh, Rough and Tough took a look there, but he couldn't get the run on Ruzi. Ruzi gets the better of the runs there. Fuzzy Bunny now up into 3rd place here. Turbo, SoCal in 4th and 5th place. Definitely the two closest together right now, as their bumpers are basically touching at this point. And ooh, I thought he was going to take a look there, but I think he probably thought that was too early. And he's going to take a look now. SoCal's just going to settle in, and ooh, he's going to pinch him there, and that's going to force him to check up a little bit there, and that's going to have to give him the line back up. So a hard defensive move right there coming from Turbo. SoCal remains in 5th place. Ruzi and Rough and Tough now closing back in a little bit here. Let's go see what's going on in 9th and 10th place here, as well as J-Rod still applying pressure to Sheriff here, as well as they continue to close in on Rob. 1.2 seconds in behind here. So Ooh, we got juiciness going on everywhere. SoCal now up into 4th position here. Turbo losing that position, but he is going to try and respond here as they are side by side. He's going to put him on the outside. He's putting him on a tough line. He's not going to get the job done, but we could see the over-under attempt here, and that's exactly what we're going to see here. He's going to try and gain that inside position into the hairpin. Unable to do so. SoCal defending it off. Turbo gets a good line here. He's going to get a nice tight line, but it forces him again on the outside slightly because he gets a better run on that Flying Fox car in front, and he's going to battle hard here. What's he going to do here? He is going to look for another over-under potentially here, but SoCal is going to defend that line again. And boy, Turbo is just on his rear bumper here right now as we're on lap 11 of 14. This is some very crazy racing here right now from our Pro-Ams. I always say it, the Pro-Ams always provide some spicy racing, and they have not disappointed here so far tonight. Whew, alright, SoCal. Turbo. Potential penalty there for Turbo? I think so. SoCal now up into 3rd position as he gets to run on Fuzzy Bunny there as well. So Fuzzy Bunny now dropping down into 4th place, and SoCal now finds himself trying to defend off that final podium position as Fuzzy Bunny's in the defensive manner here against Rough and Tough now, who finds himself up into P5 with that penalty for sure from Turbo. And things are getting interesting. So Rough and Tough here in P5. We've got Turbo in P6 now. We've got Ruzy in 7th. We got Rob in 8th. We still got Sheriff in 9th. And very close in behind is J-Rod in 10th place. And again, they continue to slowly but surely chip away at Rob just up in front there. Bud's losing touch a little bit. Fuller has gained the position now up into 12th place. And Dipshy here in 13th position. So Tom the Tack large and in charge here right now as he continues around in 1st position. He's got 8.8 seconds and looking pretty strong here in the race lead from pole position as well. So Nuke up into 2nd position here. He's got 1.8 seconds over SoCal in 3rd position. He's now got 1 second over Fuzzy Bunny. So the podium's almost got that slipstream fully broken here, but again, with these cars so close to each other here in the mid-pack, the front mid-pack, it is going to be easy for them to potentially close that gap back up to 3rd place yet, depending on if they battle or work together here. Fuzzy Bunny in 4th place. We've got Turbo in 5th and Rough and Tough in 6th position. So it's going to come down to these 3 drivers and what they're going to opt to do here as they continue around here. And a little bit of a error from Fuzzy Bunny on the exit there, and Turbo's going to take advantage of that, move up the inside, and it's a drag race at start finish line here. And is it Fuzzy Bunny? Is it Turbo? Which driver is on the head here? Is Fuzzy Bunny going across the line ahead, but the inside position does belong to Turbo here as we head into turn 1 and 2, and he's going to send it in there and just make sure there is no attempt at holding the outside line. Turbo's going to get the job done. And now he's going to find himself on the defense here. And you can see Rough and Tough in 6th place. He's just sitting there watching, waiting for an opportunity, waiting for a door to open here. And, it was a little bit of a decision-making time right there from Fuzzy Bunny as he wasn't sure if he was going to make a move, if he was going to settle in. And Rough and Tough takes a nice tight line. He's going to get a good exit. He moves and finds himself inside of Fuzzy Bunny here. And very quickly, Fuzzy Bunny could be finding himself down 2 positions in a handful of corners here. But he is holding strong, has the inside track here around this double right-hander. And, just sends it through there. It does Rough and Tough. A tiny little bit of contact between the two there. And squeezed tight on the inside there is Rough and Tough. Potentially a penalty. That might have been a little too much. And as we come around there, it looks like the racing officials are going to let that go. So, so far so good there for Rough and Tough, moving up into 5th position here. But he is going to be having to defend that position here as we head up the straight. Another penalty here for Ruzy, and that's great for Rob here in 8th place. But Rob is starting to feel the heat from Sheriff Doofy here in 9th and J-Rod in 10th place. Bud now starting to close back in here in 11th as well. Fuller in 12th position, and Dipshy here in 13th place, and that fun dip car looking fantastic as always. Alright, race leader has started the final lap here. We've got Nuke coming around in 2nd place, 1.3 seconds over SoCal in 3rd position, 2 seconds now the gap over 4th place. Turbo has 1.3 seconds over the battling mid-pack here, and Rough and Tough now fighting it out there with Fuzzy Bunny and is going to defend his position from Fuzzy Bunny there. So P5 does remain in the 111's hands there as the 92 car unable to get the job done. Sheriff moving up into P7 here. So the penalty from Ruzi is definitely not great for him there, and he ended up in between Sheriff and J-Rod. Now it's actually probably pretty great for Sheriff, as J-Rod was right up in his business there, and now J-Rod's up in Ruzi's business there. Ooh, Ruzi a little bit wide there and just keeping it underneath of him, and Sheriff is just trying to keep it clean in front here so we can try to keep the charge of Ruzi off in behind. And ooh, things are getting interesting, but we do need to get to our race leader here. Where is our race leader? All right. Ooh, Sheriff is still battling here, so the battle is right here now and legitimately in the mid-pack here, so we're just keeping an eye. Tom the Tech, our race leader, is on the final mile of racetrack, so to speak, here for our sprint race, so we are going to start to go in sequence here, so we do apologize if we're missing a battle right now, but it's the way of the race. And it is going to be Tom the Tech here to come in with a round 3 sprint race finish here this weekend. So congratulations to Tom the Tech for the sprint race win. That'll put him in 7th place in the grid for the feature race. Nuke is going to come around here in 2nd position for himself there. He did give some of that gap back up. SoCal is going to hold on to 3rd place. Turbo managing in 4th. Rough and Tough is going to hold on to 5th place. Fuzzy Bunny is going to come across in 6th. Sheriff holds off the charge in 7th. Ruzi in 8th. J-Rod in 9th. Bud in 10th. Rob in 11th. And Rob dropping a few positions right at the end of the race there, unfortunately. Fuller Bunch coming through here in 12th position. And Dipshy just heading up the back straight here right now. And all 13 drivers are going to finish this deal here in the sprint race, still rolling under their own steam. So that's fantastic. We love to see it. And boy, that soft tire has seen better days, hasn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Absolutely great job there to our racers. All right, so it is pole position and a win for Tom the Tech here, and fastest lap as well here in the sprint race. So congratulations to Tom the Tech, sweeping up some points here today, and that is going to essentially set our grid now for the feature race. All right, so while we, save replays and do our race official duties, we will give the racers a few minutes here. We just want to make sure, we get this shared out, so if there is any video footage required by racing officials for any post-race reports, then they do have, of course, that replay available to them to go and reference if they need to do so, if there's not enough footage provided. So as, of course, this continues to tick away and just dawdle on. We'll get prepared for our future race and we'll break down the race. And we do have one of our other drivers making it in here. Fantastic. Alright, so we're going to give them a minute so they can save their own replays. Alright, what a sprint race. That was great action right from start to finish. I kind of expected we would see that based off the qualifying run. So again, now we're going to move into our feature race here, and we got to give the drivers obviously time to bring those Toyotas into pit lane. They've got to get them out of pit lane, back in behind the wall. They got to get them to their respective trucks, and they got to pull out, of course, the next piece of machinery for our feature race. They will not be driving the Toyota GR86 here in our feature event. They will be driving a different piece of machinery, and we'll talk about that here in just a moment's time. So just do bear with here, as I wanted to give the drivers enough time to save the replay. Just double checking to make sure everything is properly set this time. Made a little mistake last week, so we don't want to do that again. All right. So let's talk about what we have in store for us next year. All right, our future race, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a Group 3 driver selected car. So that means it is an open Group 3 round. So we should see a pretty good variation of Group 3 cars here. What I have seen from our Pro-Am division is a pretty good wide range of Group 3 cars in these open select rounds. So we should expect to see that here again today. Qualifying again is based off the sprint race, so it will be based off sprint race, and the top 7 will be inverted. And one of our racers that we expected to show up for the feature race has showed up, so he will be placed back of the pack. It is a 29 lap race distance. It is a rolling start this time. BOP is on balance performance. The brake balance is acceptable, and they can tune their front and rear aero packages here this time as well. The drivers are required to use 2 of the 3 available racing compounds here today as well. It is 2 times tire, 2 times fuel. It is a 3 liter per second refuel rate. The drivers start with a full tank of fuel. It is evening time here for our feature event as well. So I believe everybody is ticked in here, and we can set up our lineup. So while I am taking care of some racing duties, I am just going to continue to do my best to chat with everybody, so bear with me here. This is a little bit confusing with the inverted grid. So it'll be Sheriff and Pole, Fuzzy, and Turbo. And then SoCal, because he's the lucky 4th place driver, literally just stays in 4th place. It's almost the best place to be in all honesty. Is that 4th place position, because you don't actually change your position at all. So, yeah, Sheriff, Fuzzy. Oh, Rough and Tough, and then Turbo. I made a mistake. Where is he? And then SoCal. There. Turbo. Okay. This is not as easy as it looks. Some color commentary here as we continue on. So Sheriff, Fuzzy, Rough and Tough, Turbo, SoCal, Nuke, Tom. Oh, where's Tom? Tom. Alright. And then it's Ruzy, J-Rod, and Bud. Rob, Fuller, Dipshy. Rob, Fuller, Dipshy. Alright, one more check. Alright, we're going to start in 3 minutes. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so again, our feature rules are up on the screen in front of us. I do apologize for keeping that up for so long, but it takes a little bit of a minute to get these lobbies properly set up here for from the sprint to the feature race. It's a little bit of a process, and I haven't quite perfected it yet, so yeah, bear with. Definitely got a good variety of Group 3 cars, I am going to say that much. 2 minutes till start, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope everybody enjoyed the sprint race again. Much love from Sector 7 Racing and our Toyota GR Cup. This is round 3, and we are at Brazil. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this feature race goes in comparison to that sprint race. The sprint race was very, very feisty and very tight racing, but now we're going to add double race length. We're going to have a mandatory pit stop, which means we could potentially have drivers starting on different compounds of racing tires. And I know the nature of this racetrack, so I'm not 100% sure if a one-stop is feasible without them doing a hard medium run here. So we may see some two-stop strategies potentially here today as well in this feature race. And that's just the nature of the racetrack and how aggressive it can be on your racing tires. The drivers that opt to use the racing soft tires are really going to have to manage those tires, I think, to really maximize distance out of them here. So it can be very interesting to see how each of our racers handle the strategy for today's race. I definitely see some different potentials for strategies here today, and I love it when you get these races that have 2 or 3, maybe even 4 different strategy potentials in there, and I think we have a solid 3-strat race here, maybe even a 4-strat race here. So we're just getting race control piping up through the radio here that the drivers are all in the proper machinery at this point, and they are just verifying through, of course, our tower system that all the transponders that are attached to cars are working correctly, and they're going to get these guys lined up on the grid here. So we should have some racing action for everybody in less than a minute's time. So we do appreciate the patience. And we hope that you've refreshed your beverages and snacks and settled back into the sweet spot wherever it is you're watching, whether it be at home, at the office, or somewhere else. We do appreciate all that viewership. Don't forget to like and share the stream for us. A couple free things you can do to help us grow. And, of course, full video on demand will be available on the Sector 7 Racing YouTube channel 24 hours after this is live. All right, so race control is giving me the word here. We've got the drivers coming into the grid. We are getting lined up, and we should be racing here very shortly. So let's get to it, shall we? All right, there we go. Our grid is set. Sheriff Doofy will lead the race off, and we do need to watch this rolling start. These rolling starts sometimes can be a little funny. We want to make sure the gapping is appropriate for the racers. Alright, clean start please. No rolling start glitches. Yes, alright, looks like clean rolling start. So we're good there. Now it's up to the racers to provide a clean racing start here. And we're going to let the action kind of settle out here real quick. We got almost 3 wide here between the mid-pack here as we come down through. And this Sector 7 Nuke in some position here. He's looking for a quick early position here potentially. Ooh, him and Tom the Tech going really wide. Everybody on these cold racing tires here. Ruzi in 8th place. J-Rod right there in 9th place. We got Bud in 10th. Fuller in 11th. Rob in 12th. Star Shooter in 11th place. And I don't know what happened there, but Fuller is not feeling the love here today. This guy is just absolutely... potentially some contact there maybe as they come into the corner there, and oh my goodness, some days are just not ideal for the racers. Some days are just your bad day. Right now Fuller Bunch, not to any really issue of his own potentially, it's just been in the wrong spot at the wrong time potentially a couple times here today, and again immediately going to be on the back foot here. And that BMW Z4 is a pretty spicy little car to begin with, so I'm not sure if that's going to be the right choice here around Interlagos today, but who am I to say? Maybe that thing's an absolute beast here. We're about to find out as he's on the back foot here very early on, but he's only 3 seconds in behind the pack here this time as opposed to like 10 seconds, so, and he's got double the race distance to go. Game on. Poor man, I feel bad for him here today. I hate to see it. Sheriff here in the race lead in the McLaren 650S. Second place is Rough and Tough in the GTR. We got Fuzzy Bunny in the BMW M6. We've got Turbo here in the Porsche 911. We've got Nuke in the Aston Martin. We've got SoCal also in a McLaren 650S. We've got Ruzi here in, I believe that's the Lexus. No, it's a Hyundai. It's the Hyundai Sonata. Interesting. All right. Got J-Rod in the Lexus. We got Tom the Tech in the Corvette. He's going to move up the inside here. J-Rod's going to squeeze him hard here, make it real difficult to get the pass done. Side by side, wheel to wheel. And Tom the Tech is going to weasel that out with just a little better top acceleration rate in that Corvette over that Lexus. But now the Lexus finds himself defending on Dipshy in 10th place here in that GTR, but looking for a response here is J-Rod as he gets his nose just inside that rear quarter panel there, but not able to keep that position, and he's just going to settle in here for the time being. So we've got Bud in the Dodge Viper here. He's under pressure from Starshooter, aka Maverick, in 11th place here in that Ferrari. He actually just gets the job done here. A little bit of lag here again from that driver. We got Rob here in 13th and Fuller closing back in here in 14th position. Pardon me, got to get a sneeze out of the way there. Battleford the race lead here as Rough and Tough is right on the rear bumper of TT Sheriff Doofy here, and side by side as we head into turn 1 and 2, and Sheriff just leans a little out to the left there and gets himself into the grass there. He's going to have to get himself back on track, and he's going to quickly drop down through the pack there. He's just trying to get in safely, trying to find his way back into the pack there, and oh my goodness, it just goes from bad to worse as he loses it under the acceleration there with those dirty, grassy tires, and he's going to slide back out there. So that is just a devastating moment there for Sheriff as he's now down into 13th position here, and he's got some work to do, much like the sprint race, but he ended up with a good result in the sprint race, so we'll see what he's got here in the future. So it is now Rough and Tough in the race lead, and instead of having a car right directly in behind there now, he's 3.5 seconds to the good over Turbo in the Porsche. He's got Nuke right there in 3rd place, who finished 2nd in the feature. He's got Fuzzy Bunny in 4th place, very hot on his heels, and that mid-pack again, very close together. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we got 8, 9 cars all within 3/4 of a second of each other here right now, so we got some good, healthy battling happening here in our feature event here today. We've seen a little bit of tough luck, but we've also seen some great racing here today as well, and it was very early on in this feature race. We're going to see pit stops here as well, keeping in mind, so the story has yet to be told here in this feature race. This is all just good, hard entertainment, good, hard battling from our racers right now, but Fuzzy Bunny keeping it tight with Nuke in that Aston Martin. He's going to take a look up Nuke's going to go defensive, but the BMW gets to run on the Aston there, and he's going to have the lead in heading into turn 1 and 2, and should have no problem sticking it on the outside there. And as a matter of fact, he's going to settle in front of Nuke before the corner even gets finished up there, and he is going to take 3rd place away for the time being. But Nuke looking to get a response there as he comes absolutely blazing out of the corner there, and he is right there back in the fight here and up into 3rd place. So I'm sitting here talking about Nuke, and we're watching Fuzzy Bunny and Ruzi here. Ruzi I'm talking about, my bad. Nuke sitting in 3rd place. They're still chasing that Porsche, but closed in very tight there, and for some reason I thought we were watching Nuke. My bad. I'm just a commentator. You can throw your stones later. Alright, so Turbo here in 2nd place, and Rough and Tough is very quickly trekking up the road here from the rest of the group. So Ruzi in 4th place, who we just seen battling with Fuzzy Bunny there in the BMW, doing a great job defending his position, and now this allows him to actually close up on Nuke there in 3rd place, and now he's applying some pressure there on his compadre at Sector 7 Racing in that Aston Martin. So takes a little bit of a look for some clean air and comes on zipping around, and I'm very shocked that this is the car. You know, just don't see this car picked that often, so I mean, I tip my hat. I'll tip my hat. Tom the Tech in 7, SoCal in 6, Dipshy up into 8th place, J-Rod's here in 9th, we got Star Shooter in 10th place all the way from the back of the pack, we've got Bud in 11th place, we've got Fuller now in 12th, we've got Rob in 13th, and we've got Sheriff here in 14th position, just in behind Rob. So not going well here for Sheriff from first place all the way down to the back, but that could change very well as this race continues on here as well. So rough and tough, 5 seconds up the road from Turbo. Turbo's starting to try and break free from Nuke and Ruzi chasing in behind here, but he hasn't quite broken the slipstream from these guys here yet. Aston and the Hyundai very close together here. I keep wanting to call that a Lexus. It's a Hyundai. It's a Hyundai Sonata, as a matter of fact. And it's putting a lot of pressure on that Aston Martin here right now. So very strong here at Interlagos, obviously. Again, I'm just a little shocked. Fuzzy Bunny there in 5th place, and the BMW is still right there, but he does have SoCal closing in and applying some pressure, and then Tom the Tech and company in behind there yet as well. So things are getting interesting. I mean, this is just a healthy 4, 5, 8-way battle right now for the final podium position, essentially, and everything back to like 9th place. Love to see it. The Porsche isn't out of this by any stretch of the imagination either. Nuke doing a great job of keeping that Aston Martin just in slipstream range of that Porsche 911. That Porsche is a rocket ship, though, under acceleration, and an absolute nimble little machine on its tires when it comes to corners. So definitely very strong in the middle part of this racetrack. We got Dipshy in 8th place. We got J-Rod there in 9th. We got Star Shooter in 10th, and you can see him bouncing back and forth there. That's not him swerving the car back and forth. That's a little bit of neck coating we're seeing there. And is he going to take a look? He is going to take a look on J-Rod, who was taking a look on Dipshy there. And makes his way through. It's hard to tell when you have that much lag. We can't even begin to speculate on that, whether it was just a clean pass through or it was as forceful as it looked. We got Tom the Tech in pit lane here. Interesting. So a very early pit stop coming from Tom. Interesting. I'm not exactly sure what we're seeing for strategies here, but that is definitely not something that was on the top of my head. So it's rough and tough now in the race lead. Turbo here in 2nd place. We got Nuke in 3rd. Tom the Tech was in 7th when he pit. Ruzi's in 4th. We got Fuzzy Bunny here in 5th. We got SoCal in 6th. So now we've got Star Shooter here in 7th with Dipshy in 8th, right in behind him. J-Rod down another spot here now in 9th position. Bud here in 10th place. Fuller closing in a little bit here, 3.4 seconds behind in 11th. Sheriff now back up into 12th place ahead of Rob. Rob is battling it out there as Sheriff makes a mistake, gets the position back, and Sheriff now drops back down to P13, and Tom the Tech comes out in 14th position. So a strategy, different strategies than the rest of the field currently from Tom the Tech, it appears. So this is interesting, very interesting. It's got me very perplexed at the moment. Alright, so we're just going to continue on with our assessments here. Nothing changing yet. Everything's still staying relatively the same. Star Shooter halfway up the field here from 14th, now up into 7th. Dipshy's up as well into 8th place. J-Rod's, I think, up a couple of spots here as well. Bud's about where he started. Fuller, just, again, a rough start to the race for him, now in 11th place. We got Rob here in 12th, much of the same for Sheriff from first, currently down in 13th. And then Tom Tech with a pit, 17 seconds in behind the pack here. So just a strategy being played out, I think, right there from Tom the Tech. Very interesting strategy being played out. But it is rough and tough in the race lead. 6 seconds up the road right now from Turbo. who has 1 second over Nuke in third position. Nuke is about 4/10 of a second ahead of Ruzi. Ruzi has not let that Aston Martin get anywhere further away here as they continue to charge up towards Porsche. Star Shooter here now up into 5th place, SoCal in 6th position. We've got Dipshy in 7th, J-Rod in 8th. We got Fuzzy Bunny here in 9th position, Bud here in 10th. So Fuzzy Bunny dropping down some spots here now. Alright, so we're going to see Ruzi make a pass here on Nuke for 3rd position, and a very tidy one there as well, coming into turn number 4, and Nuke settles in behind there in 4th place. So that Sonata was definitely charging on the Aston Martin there for a while, and finally decided that he had the pace there, and maybe it's because the Ferrari continues to move up the field so quickly here, he decided it was time to put a car between himself and Star Shooter closing in behind. SoCal here in 6th place, Dipshy in 7th, J-Rug close behind there and still in 8th, Fuzzy Bunny in 9th. So Bud right there in 10th. Nice little 5-way battle right there in the backpack. Fuller's closing in very quickly on this, so is Rob and Sheriff. And Tom the Tech, after a pit stop, is closing in back in on the pack here as well. So it is rough and tough here so far, 6.5 seconds, but that gap is not growing at this point. It's just being maintained for the time being here. Turbo doing a pretty good job at keeping the charge of Ruzi and Nuke off, but now it's Ruzi chasing instead of Nuke here, and Nuke trailing. Nuke is about 6/10 of a second in behind Ruzi, so the gap's still about the same. Just the positions have changed a little bit here. Star Shooter closing in though, 1.7 seconds. We've got SoCal here in 6th position as well, 2.1 seconds in behind the Ferrari there. Dipshy here in 7th position. We've got J-Rod now sitting in 8th place here with Fuzzy Bunny in 9th position. Feeling a little bit of pressure here from Bud in that Dodge Viper in 10th place. We've got Fuller in 11th place here, and about 2 seconds in behind. Rob is about 3 seconds in behind, so lost touch a little bit there. Sheriff now closing in on Rob here within a half second as well, and Tom the Tech now another second gained on those two as well. So Tom the Tech very quickly closing back in on the pack after that pit stop. So looking like a 2-stop strategy perhaps coming from Tom the Tech here. We'll see if that is a precursor for what we're going to expect to see here in the remainder of our race today. But again, 2 tire compounds do need to be used, and so far the only driver that has cleared that mandate is Tom the Tech. So Turbo here in 2nd position. We've got Ruzi here in 3rd place. We've got Nuke in 4th position. We've got a Star Shooter in 5th place. We've got SoCal in 6th. We've got Dipshy in 7th. J-Rod in 8th. We've got Fuzzy Bunny in 9th. We've got Bud in 10th. Fuller in 11th. Rob in 12th. Sheriff in 13th. And Tom pits. Alright. Just getting an idea on who's on what tire here, really. Something happened there. Ruzi now ahead of Turbo in 2nd place. And my brain was just staring at this going, wait, something's wrong here. Nothing's wrong. Something has changed. Ruzi now up into 2nd position. Turbo here in 3rd place. Nuke still trailing in 4th place, but within half a second distance from the Porsche here. So basically a car length separating the two of them here. Then you can see Star Shooter still in 5th place. Trying to close in here, but it seems like he's starting to lose pace with the top 4 here, and Nuke is absolutely tucked in tight here on the Porsche 911 right now, and we're going to see a nice tight line here through the 2nd hairpin from Nuke. He's going to try and close in nice and tight here on the Porsche, but the Porsche, of course, nimble through the middle part of this racetrack. All these MR cars are. You can see the Ferrari here as well, quite nimble through there. The McLaren, GTR, you got to fight it through a little bit. So else is Lexus. The BMW, much of the same thing here. The Viper is a tank, so you know you're fighting that car around this racetrack in the middle part. Does the BMW Z4? I'm not sure. Rob here in 13th position now, so Sheriff has gotten that spot back from Rob, and then Tom in 14th position here, closing in another 2.5-3 seconds gain since the last time we checked on the backside of the pack here. So Rough and Tough is now actually losing just a little bit of time here on Ruzi in 2nd place now. 6 seconds is the gap. Turbo here now in third place is starting to feel the pressure from Nuke here a little bit in the Aston Martin as well here in fourth position. So not a whole lot changing right at the moment as this race is starting to kind of settle into itself here. We're on lap 11 of 29, so not quite halfway. Half-second penalty here for Star Shooter, and that's not ideal there for him as he has only SoCal 1.4 seconds in behind, so that's going to eat up about 3/4 of a second of that gap, and that's going to put SoCal back in slipstream range of the Ferrari here. Dipshy is just on the tail end of that slipstream of the McLaren there, and much the same for J-Rod here in the Lexus as well on Dipshy, actually just outside of that range. Fuzzy Bunny here in 9th position, but has opened up a small gap on Bud here, who is managing to keep the Z4 a little out of that slipstream range here as well. Sheriff here in 12th place, now starting to lose that Lexus Rob here a little bit in 13th position, and Tom the Tech keeps charging. So again, interesting strategy coming here from Tom the Tech. We'll see if that works out for him. It seemed like a very early pit there. But I'm not the one racing this race. I'm not the one that's put the time and testing into it, so I can only sit here and really speculate what these drivers are going to get out of tires. I suspected this was about the point in time if anybody that was on a soft tire would be thinking about pitting, so they're going a little bit further than I expected. So 2 stops are still definitely viable here, I think, today. Turbo here in third place, 1 stop I mean, in third place still. Nuke in fourth, not much changing there. Oh, we got a battle here between J-Rod, Dipshy, and Star Shooter, pardon me, here heading into turns 1 and 2. And Star Shooter's down 2 positions, so SoCal now moves up into 5th place, and Dipshy, blocking off the over-under line there quite well. Actually gets a little nudge from the Ferrari, then a little extra boost through the corner to help get him a little bit of immediate distance. And now J-Rod's on the backside of this battle here as well. Tucked right in, the BMW just looming 3/4 of a second off in the background here. So the Ferrari giving up 2 spots there in a couple of corners, and J-Rod is applying some pressure there on that gold Ferrari or bronze Ferrari here, and you can see Fuzzy Bunny, pardon me, in the BMW in 9th place there, starting to track in here a little bit as well, and he is bringing along that Dodge Viper and Fuller Bunch, who is right hot on his heels now as well here in 11th place. Let's sit with the 69 car of the Flying Fox BMW Z4 Fuller Bunch here, as he is tucked right in underneath that Dodge Viper here as we get through the middle part of this racetrack. And obviously that is definitely going to be where the BMW is stronger than this Dodge Viper. But the Dodge Viper is going to have the advantage into this back straight. So you can see Fuller's got the position here, but again, that prowess, that V10 power almost pulled that Viper out ahead of that BMW, and you can see the over-under coming back from the Dodge Viper here. The Dodge Viper should be able to outpower the Z4 in a straight line here. Unfortunately for Fuller, he's just going to have to tuck it right back in and try to get something done into turns 1 and 2 here. If he can get ahead of Bud in before the infield section here, he can probably start to open a gap on that Dodge Viper and not have to worry about such retaliation on these straights, but he's unable to get the job done. The Viper just too strong in a straight line, and he is going to find himself now still fighting here, and side by side there, he gets a good run, a little bit of a touch there between the 2 cars, but Fuller absolutely just giving him the business here in the Dodge Viper again. I guess outpowering that Z4, even though the Z4 got the better run on him there. The Viper's just stronger in a straight line, and that Z4 is just doing everything he can right now to find a way around. He gets some position on the inside there. The Viper makes a mistake. He goes a little too deep on the exit there. He is going to get the position up to Fuller here, but he is going to look to immediately strike back. But Fuller is just going to send that Z4 in nice and deep, as it's a little more nimble than that Dodge Viper. And he's going to start to try and open up that gap. So what we suspected was going to happen was what needed to happen. We see a pit coming from Rough and Tough here now. That puts Ruzi in the race lead. Turbo chasing in 2nd place still, with Nuke still in 3rd position. SoCal here holding on to 4th place. Star Shooter closing back in here in 5th place, with Dipshy and J-Rod very close in behind in 6th and 7th position. We got Fuzzy Bunny here in 8th place, with a nice little gap to Fuller there after that good healthy battle with that Dodge Viper. But as I said, if you can get the job done in the infield, you should be able to build the gap up on that Dodge Viper, and that's exactly what we see there. And there's not going to be a response coming up this back straight now, as that Dodge Viper's too far away, even with straight line speed, to get anything to happen there. So Fuller just needs to keep it mean and lean now, not to give that Viper a straight line advantage on it again. Rob here in 11th place has managed to get back around Sheriff. Sheriff here is in 12th. Tom the Tech has closed in on him here, but we see Sheriff now coming into pit lane, and Rough and Tough has indeed made his official pit stop and cleared his tire mandate. So 2 of our 14 drivers are free and clear of that tire mandate. 12 drivers still required to make an additional or to use a different tire compound, but obviously we're going to see pit stops starting to happen in the next I want to say half a dozen laps for our medium tire runners here. Alright, not a lot changing in the top 3, top 4, top 5 is getting a little spicy here as Dipshy and J-Rod are still applying some pretty good pressure to the Ferrari in front to Star Shooter here. And this is good for SoCal in 4th place, obviously, as that's keeping him with a nice small cushion where he's not constantly having to be aware where these 3 cars, 4 cars, 5 cars really are in behind as they continue to charge up. But the Ferrari's doing a pretty good job of just keeping enough of a gap on the GTR Dipshy in behind to not have to worry about immediate pressure coming into the corners here as well. But the GTR is very strong in a straight line here as well, so J-Rod still close behind here in 7th place, and I suspect we're going to be seeing a pit stop coming from J-Rod relatively soon here as he is on the soft tires in his mid-pack at the moment, and the only driver remaining on the soft tire start there. We see SoCal now coming into pit lane here as well. You see him there dropping down 10th place, Rob in 11th, Tom in 12th, we got Rough and Tough there in 13th, Sheriff is just made his pit stop, he has cleared his tire mandates as well here. So it is still Ruzi in the lead with Turbo in 2nd place. We've got Nuke here in 3rd position. Star Shooter now up into 4th place with Dipshy in 5th. J-Rod now in 6th place. Fuzzy Bunny in 7th. Fuller Bunch in 8th with Bud now in 9th. That puts Rob up in the top 10 with the pit stop sequence starting to happen in some of the field here. Tom in 11th place. Rough and Tough moves up into 12th, back ahead of SoCal there. And Sheriff comes in about 20 seconds in behind SoCal there. Not sure what happened. An extra mistake perhaps? Unsure, but a little bit behind the back foot here right now. So 1.9 seconds to gap to Turbo. He is slowly but surely opening that gap up to the Porsche driver here in behind. Turbo is not really able to lose the Aston Martin and Nuke right now, so about 0.8 of a second. So with Nuke being able to stay within that slipstream range here, but easily comfortable gap now on the remaining of the midfield here in 4th place. Star Shooter is got almost 7 seconds to the podium here at the moment. 1.5 seconds in behind is Dipshy here, and oh, we lost Fuzzy Bunny here. Brutal. A DC, gotta hate that. We got Fuller Bunch here in 6th place. J-Rod coming into pit lane. That's going to give up a couple of positions here to some of our drivers as well. And it's hard to say where everybody's going to officially end up until we get this full sequence of pit stops cycled through. And I do suspect we're going to see another pit stop coming from Tom the Tech here yet as well, because again, he picked quite a bit earlier than the rest. Oh no, do we have an accident, or is this another... Not sure, that might have been a track edge. Let's go take another look at that. It looked like there may have been a touch right there, helping that Porsche around into the corner there, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But Turbo down into 5th place here, Fuller in 6th, Bud in 7th. We've got Rob here in 8th place, Tom in 9th. We've got Rough and Tough in 10th. We've got SoCal in 11th, J-Rod in 12th, and Sheriff in 13th. Fuzzy Bunny disconnecting, I believe it was on lap 16. So a couple of exciting moments here on lap number 16 there. Potential contact between a couple of drivers and one driver disconnecting. So one driver in behind pit wall here in the future race, and it is our BMW M6 driver, unfortunately. Rizzy is 6 seconds up the road now over Nuke in 2nd place, and that puts Star Shooter now in 3rd position here in the Ferrari with Dipshy in 4th place. That puts Turbo down into 5th place here as Turbo now comes into pit lane. Fuller continues to go around, so does DMP's Bud. Rob also continues to go around. Tom the Tech is also going to go around. SoCal just pits, so he is obviously going to continue to go around. J-Rod also has pit. Ooh, Rough and Tough making a mistake there, and a big slide, no damage. But let's go see if we can take another look at what happened there. The Sheriff is able to close in on him pretty good there. So J-Rod was very close in behind, and oh, just a mistake on exit there. Just lost it under the throttle with some colder racing tires, and spun that thing around half-heartedly, unfortunately, there, and that's going to cost him a position, and potentially two here. As Sheriff is hot on his heels here now as well. You can see in turns 1 and 2 here, so we're going to stick with this here for a moment. This is a battle for 12th place, and the GTR is going to hold strong here, it looks like. So Sheriff on the charge. So our top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, our top 7 drivers have yet to make a pit stop, so we should be probably expecting to see this happening sometime in the next couple laps, I would imagine. So Nuke has decided to pit here. He's going to go for an undercut here. The Ferrari's going to continue to go around, so though the GTR is going to come in behind here as well, Bud is going to continue to go around here with Rob. Yes, Rob gets a bit of a run there. Tom the Tech is going to continue around here as well. We will expect to see him make another pit stop here yet. Turbo here is good. Just checking tire compounds, making sure everybody's on the appropriate stuff. Everybody, of course, following the rules as per the norm. That's usual. We've got Ruzi here, 10 seconds up the road now. Star Shooter in second, but they all owe pit stops yet. Fuller here in third place. We got Rob in fourth. We've got Bud in fifth. Tom's in sixth currently. We've got SoCal in seventh place, ahead of Nuke, who's now coming out of pit lane in eighth position. But we'll see where they actually settle in as soon as everything settles right back in the way it should be. Turbo's in ninth. J-Rod is in 10th. Dipshot comes out just in behind 11th after his pit. And Sheriff and Rough and Tough still separated by a car length here between the two of them. And defensive going is Rough and Tough. They're almost driving into the grass. He was going so defensive. The Sheriff is just hanging back. He's going to get a good run here. A little bit of a slide there on the exit. Maybe Dirty Air messing around with him a little bit there. And he's just going to stay settled in behind here for the time being. So Ruzi continuing around here in first position. Star Shooter in second. Third place is Fuller. Rob here in fourth and Bud in fifth. All 5 drivers still owing a pit stop here yet. Tom has pit. He has cleared his mandate, but there's certainly going to be another pit stop coming from this driver here for sure, based off the varying strategy we've seen coming from him when he makes that pit stop. I guess we'll have to wait and see, but we have Fuller, Bunch, Rob, and Bud all coming into pit lane now. And that'll give SoCal and Nuke some spots back here. Turbo as well. Unfortunately for Turbo, he is down a little bit there after whatever happened into turn 4 a couple laps ago. J-Rod feeling the heat right now from Dipshy and the GTR in behind. And as they head into turns 1 and 2, a little bit of a touch between the two of them there, I think, under braking, but no harm, no foul. J-Rod makes the corner just fine, and Dipshy gets it stopped in time, not to make any secondary contact. So a little mistake made there, but everybody seemed to have made it out a-okay on that one. Just a little bit of paint being swapped, maybe a little bit of a crack in the plastic or the carbon fiber of the racing cars, but they continue on. So Ruzi in first, Star Shooter here in second, Tom the Tech is in third position. We've got SoCal here in fourth place. We've got Nuke very close behind in fifth position. And SoCal got the jump on Nuke there in pit lane. Turbo here in sixth place. We've got J-Rod in 7th place, and Dipshy still very close in behind here in 8th place. And are we going to see a battle? A nice tight line there coming from J-Rod to defend that corner, but a good setup for the secondary corner here coming from Dipshy. And is he going to get a good run out? He has a little bit of a slide actually under the exit there, and that's going to cost him just a little bit of that distance to J-Rod here. So this is going to be an important exit for the GTR, and again, he just has a little wiggle under the throttle there, and he's going to lose just a little bit more time to the Lexus, who had just a smoother exit out. So final corner, big run important here. These two cars are pretty equal when it comes down to the acceleration point here, and the GTR had a good hard slide again, and Dipshot really pushing that car here right now, and is costing him in his charge to J-Rod, but he is securely in the slipstream here and should be able to at least pull in tight to try and see if there's going to be an opening for a move here. J-Rod's going to stay nice and lean here, and he's going to make Dipshy go on the outside coming into turn number 1, but if Dipshy can hold it there, that'll give him the optimal line through the next part of the corner, and he cannot. J-Rod is going to defend that battle here and keep Dipshy in 7th position for the time being here. Tom the Tech now making that pit stop that we did expect we were going to see here again, but he does only, it looks like he's going to come out in 9th or 10th place here, so we're just going to keep our eye on the front end of the field here, and the Star Shooter bouncing all over the place. It's hard to stay on that car for too long, I know, I apologize. We love to give him their camera time, but it's hard to watch a car that's audibly and visibly not acting quite right because of the net coating. We got Turbo here in 5th place. We've got J-Rod still. He's feeling the heat from Dipshy. Dipshy is pushing super hard here, and he keeps making these little mistakes, and at some point this may cost him due to tire wear here on J-Rod, so I'll have to wait and see. If I'm not mistaken, these drivers are on different compounds of tire as well, so right now this is actually really good solid defending from J-Rod on Dipshy, and Dipshy probably is aware that he has the better tire compound on J-Rod, but just can't seem to get it down and get around, and that is the case. So let's see what happens here. Ruzi now coming into pit lane, and Star Shooter coming into pit lane, so let's see where SoCal settles and Nuke settles in all of this here as they come around. So SoCal did jump Nuke in that pit sequence and did manage to get a spot ahead or two in reality there. So SoCal with a great undercut there, and looks like they are going to get ahead of the Ferrari here, but it looks like Ruzi, no, he's not going to hold on. Ruzi's going to come out in behind SoCal here. So SoCal with the massive undercut here is going to find himself now leading this race. He gained like 3 positions in that pit stop sequence. However, with that being said, Ruzi is going to be on about 4 lap fresher soft tires at the end of the race than SoCal here, and 3 lap fresher tires on the driver chasing with Nuke in 3rd place and behind. So interesting. Turbo in 4th place. Star Shooter comes out in 5th position with Dipshy just in behind there in 6th place. J-Rod falling down to 8th place there. Fuller Bunch moving up a spot there as well, and I'm not sure what happened to J-Rod there. Let's go see if we can get another look, as we just seen him off there, and ooh, definite contact there between the Lexus and the BMW Z4 there. We'll leave it at that, as we didn't see exactly what happened leading up into that. We just caught it right as the 2 cars touched, so explains why we had a car off the racetrack there. And Tom the Tech now closing in. We've got Rob here in 10th position with a penalty there, but in 11th, Sheriff here in 12th, and Rough and Tough in 13th, and Fuzzy Bunny disconnected on lap 16, so we are down 1 driver here in our feature event. But it is SoCal here, large and in charge right now in this McLaren 650S, and he really needs to try and open a gap as quickly as he can on this fresher tire behind him of Ruzi, because when the tires start to break down, it could potentially make the difference here. But holding strong in a podium position, Nuke in 3rd position. Turbo is 6 seconds in behind the podium, but he's got 3.7 to the good in behind that Ferrari, so right now he's got a cushion, not a big cushion, but a cushion nonetheless. Dipshy is 1.7 seconds in behind Star Shooter and the Ferrari there, losing just a touch a little bit. Fuller Bunch here in 7th position with J-Rod now in 8th place, but Tom Tech is closing fairly quickly here in that Corvette as they come around turns number 3 and 4, and the gap is 0.8 of a second here and dropping a little bit. So J-Rod doing a pretty good job at holding his own here. Rob in 10th place with Bud very close behind here in 11th, and then it's about 7 seconds to Sheriff in 12th place, and then about 5 seconds to Rough and Tough in 13th. But right now it is SoCal with the race lead, and a half a second is that gap to Ruzi in 2nd place and closing very, very quickly. Let's jump on board here with Ruzi as he continues to try and chase down our race leader. If we take a quick look in behind, you can see Nuke is just right there as well, so if he takes a look over, he knows that he's back there, but not immediate threat, so he can focus on this battle right now with the race leader SoCal. And ooh, a nice little dipsy doodle there, but no reaction. He just holds his line. SoCal stays strong, and the Hyundai gets a good run here. SoCal laboring that car around there in the middle part of that corner, and little push here from the Hyundai as well. Just let him know that he's got a better run, and he is going to take a look here. So we are going to potentially be side by side here as we come into the corner, and yes, a good exit coming from the Sonata driver there, and we are 100% side by side as we continue on here. SoCal's going to have the inside, the double sweeper here. Can he hold strong? And this is a battle for the overall race lead here. I think they touched a little bit right there, the two of them. No harm, no foul, still side by side. And the Sonata gets the job done on the outside. That is a tough positional battle right there, and he gets the job done. SoCal did everything he could to hold off the charge of that Hyundai, but Ruzi gets it back, and now back in the race lead here, but that allowed Nuke to close right back in, and this is now a three-way battle for all three of our podium positions here, as Turbo is still 6 seconds in behind this battle, doesn't even potentially know what's going on up front here right now. But very, very healthy battle here from our race leaders now. We're going to sit with this here as we head up the back straight one more time and get ready to start lap 24, because obviously we want to see if anything develops leading into turns 1 and 2 here, see if anybody gets a run, see if everybody can get position, see if we can see a attack attempt here from SoCal potentially on Ruzi. Ruzi's going to take a semi-defensive line. SoCal decides early he's not going to even try to take a look up the inside. He tries to hold strong on the outside there, but the Sonata just holding such a strong line around the racetrack here this afternoon that McLaren was not able just to find a hole there, but he stays tucked in, and now Nuke is right there as well. So here we go. Three-way battle for the race lead. Defensive line does go Ruzi, and McLaren again almost getting some outside position there on the Hyundai, but opts just settled back in and also defend on Nuke, but Nuke's going to take a look at an over-under right there, and a mistake made by the McLaren, and they're going to go side by side here now for second place. Nuke again is on the outside there, so Cal's trying to defend it on the inside of the double-handed sweeper, and it looks like he's going to get the defense here, but they are still side by side now as we head into the hairpins. This is going to be an extremely tough hold here, but boy, Nuke really gave it everything he had there. He almost had that the Aston Martin there, keeping that nose just in there, but he just loses it out in that second hairpin, and an absolutely huge attempt there from Nuke. But I gotta tell you, they lost absolutely no time to that Sonata up in the race lead there, and this is still a very active three-way battle for the overall race lead here. And as SoCal gets around this final corner, Nuke comes around here. Who gets the better exit to Sonata? You can see really with a good snap under the throttle there, trying to get the power down as early as you can, and nothing brewing here at the moment. Let's go take a quick peek here. Star Shooter closing in on Turbo in 4th place. Tom has gotten around J-Rod for a position here. Bud is still about the same distance. And we've got somebody who doesn't need to be in the lobby, but at this point it doesn't really much matter. The race is ongoing. Ruzi here is in 1st place, and boy, what a battle for the overall race lead here. This is it's game on here. He's going to go full defensive here. SoCal has no choice. He's going to try and hold it out on the outside part of the line. Nuke is just going to settle back here. He's going to try and get a good run back on these guys. And what an absolute blazing battle for the race lead here. We're definitely going to have to be sitting here right now. Ooh, and Nuke takes a look underneath SoCal. SoCal took a little bit of a look there, and it opened up a door, and Nuke tried to stick his nose in there, and SoCal just closing it off in the nick of time there. In other words, Nuke would have had position on him there. Boy, oh boy. It is getting spicy up front here in this future race. Oh, who is going to win? Who is going to win? Make your predictions. We don't have much time. We got about 4 laps remaining once these drivers come around and complete this lap. So it is anybody's game, and Star Shooter and Turbo here now also very close together. Star Shooter just takes it up the inside. Turbo gives the room and the space there, allows him through with no quarrels, and Star Shooter moves up into P4. Dipshy here in 6th place, Fuller in 7th. We got Tom the Tech here in 8th place, J-Rod in 9th. We've got Rob in 10th place. We got Bud in 11th position. We've got Sheriff here in 12th, Rough and Tough in 13th, and Fuzzy Bunny will end up with a 14th place finish here in the future due to a disconnect. Ruzi is in the race lead and has given himself a little bit of breathing room for the time being on SoCal, who also has just a small amount of breathing room here for the time being on Nuke in 3rd place. These a little bit of strategy perhaps happening here between the 3 drivers right now and behind the wheel, and they're just going to try and figure out how they're going to re-engage this battle. Maybe we'll be waiting for a little bit closer to the end of the race to try and time it just right. Star Shooter has 4.2 seconds up the road, and with 4 laps, including the lap we're on remaining, is running out of time here, so we'll have to wait and see if he's got it. Dipshy here in 6th place, Fuller in 7th. Nothing really happening in the backside of things here right now, unless a mistake is made. Not a big mistake, just a little mistake. It'll tighten some things up for some battles here, but I think our viewing pleasure here for the remainder of this race potentially is in this top 3 here. Ooh, and a huge slide from Ruzi there as he comes around the hairpin, and that should allow SoCal and Nuke to close back in just slightly, and it does. You see SoCal probably closes in a good car length there from that mistake from the Sonata, and the Sonata is just absolutely hard pushing right now to try and keep that McLaren in behind here, and he's almost broken the toe actually on 2nd place in SoCal here, and it's 1.1 seconds, so I would say he succeeded at breaking the slipstream here on that lap. Now Nuke is very securely in behind SoCal, so I'm not exactly sure if we're going to see this battle re-engage for 1st place overall here, but definitely still potential for a battle between 2nd and 3rd place here yet. And I mean, it's far from over. We got 3 laps remaining, including this lap we're on right now. Anything can happen here, so let's stick with it. Oh, pardon me, we have hiccups going on here. Hopefully they stop for a second. 131.8 is the fast lap on the racetrack right now, put down by Starshooter in the Ferrari as well. So let's get on with SoCal here. 1.3 seconds to the race leader, half a second to 3rd place in behind, and McLaren is working it hard. Now he was in 4th or 5th place at the pit stop sequence, managed to and found himself in the race lead there after all the drivers pit. So it was a very good undercut coming from SoCal here, and it doesn't currently have the race lead, but very rewarded here with definitely looking like what should be a podium finish here today, coming from the McLaren car here, but whether it's 2nd or 3rd place is yet to be determined here, as Nuke is starting to apply some pressure here as we get through the infield, and SoCal's on a semi-defensive line here in that McLaren just to make sure that he doesn't leave a door open on that Aston Martin. We do know that Aston Martin can be very quick, especially in a straight line and especially on corner exits. So and you can see it right there. You can see he has closed that gap up. There isn't a gap there. He's actually going to move up to the outside a little bit here. And what's he going to do here? Is he going to try and make the move now? Is he going to sit in behind and wait? Nope. He's going to try and get it done now. He figures maybe he's got the pace on SoCal. And it's side by side as we head into turn 1 and 2. Ooh, SoCal dips it in the grass, and that is going to throw that McLaren out for a little loop there. He manages to keep it underneath of him and only half slides it, and manages to stay in 3rd place there. But boy, oh boy, that was a close call there as him and Nuke were battling it out, and he manages to keep it together, and he keeps Starshooter in behind here. But boy, that might apply some pressure from that Ferrari in 4th place now due to that slide. Tense moments there coming from SoCal, and all he did was just caught the grass a little bit under braking there, and it just unsettled his race car, threw it sideways. Great save though, great reactions, and still holding down 3rd place here with 2 to go. So the pressure is on here, and we're starting to see Dipshy close in on Fuller Bunch a little bit here now as well. So ooh, the race is starting to unfold, and the story is about to be told. But it is Ruzi here, and he is absolutely cruising right now, looking very, very proficient in that Hyundai around the racetrack here. Nuke in 2nd place has 2 seconds over that mistake with SoCal. SoCal has Starshooter all up in his business here now, and that Ferrari is all over the backside of that McLaren here. So we are going to see this battle for the final podium position here potentially before the end of this final lap, and you can see a great run coming from the Ferrari there. The Ferrari absolutely just launches out of that final corner there, and he's going to move up the inside on the McLaren here and get the job done. But you're going to see SoCal just sneak right back in behind here, and it is going to be to the outside of turns 1 and 2 here for SoCal, as this is a tough battle with the neck coating and the bouncing of the Ferrari here, and SoCal's a good driver, and it's going to be, but again, it's a tough battle. It's a tough battle. It's hard to race close quarters when somebody's bouncing around like that. Ruzi, Nuke, Starshooter currently in 3rd place, and has very quickly opened up a gap there. Tom the Tech in 8th, J-Rod there. Ooh, a little mistake made by Rob. That's opened up the door potentially for Bud there as well. All right, let's go to our race leader here as he's coming around the final couple corners of our feature event here at Interlagos. And again, a little bit of a slide there. He's got a 4-second gap here at this point with just a couple corners left to go. It is definitely not the need to full tilt this thing around here unless he's pushing for that fast lap. He just needs to get this thing to the start-finish line and take that checkered flag at this point. He's got it in got the race win in the bag here. He just needs to get around this corner safe and sound, and there he goes. Should be a nice tidy little win here for the number 10 driver from Sector 7 Racing, Ruzi. Congratulations to him for a feature win here in round number 3, and his strategy clearly was the best strategy tonight as he is going to take that checkered flag first here in the feature event. It is going to be Nuke here holding on to second place. Star Shooter will take third place. SoCal's going to hold on to fourth, with Charge of Turbo just falling a little short there in fifth place. Fuller Bunch having a good recovery here, going to bring it home in sixth place. Dipshy is going to just hold off Tom the Tech in seventh. Tom the Tech's going to come through in eighth. J-Rod going to hold strong here in ninth position. And it looks like Rob is going to take the top 10 spot here as well. We'll stick with J-Rod till he crosses through. Got Rob here in the other Lexus in 10th position. Was able to hold off the charge of the Dodge Viper of Bud, who will take 11th place. Sheriff is going to bring that McLaren home in 12th position here. And Rough and Tough is a few seconds behind here. Just coming around the final couple corners. And we'll bring this thing home here in 13th position. And then Fuzzy Bunny is going to receive a 14th place finish, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, due to the rule set, due to the disconnect here in the feature race. So it's not all for nothing, but definitely probably not the ideal result there for him either. But, you know, that's the way it goes sometimes. And congratulations to Ruzi for the race win. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so not quite as start to finish spicy as our sprint race was, but an absolutely great feature. Lots of great battles happening. Throughout the race, and especially that battle for the race lead there near the end of the race as well. Three-way battle there for the overall race win there, and a good strong hold from Ruzi to manage to take that race win with the Hyundai Sonata, and that was definitely not the car I expected to see absolutely blazing here in Brazil. That shocked me a little bit. But good on him. He absolutely just owned that thing and brings home a win for Hyundai. So GG's to Ruzi for absolutely good race win there. It was a hard earned one as well. So. All right, well, congratulations to Ruzi, Nuke, and Star Shooter for the top 3 here in the feature race. Congratulations to Tom the Tech, Nuke, and SoCal for our top 3 in the sprint race. And with that being said, that is the end of our event here this week. And we'll be back in a couple weeks' time for round number 4. Well, where is round number 4, you may ask? Well, you're about to find out. Appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Thank you all for tuning in, and we hope you enjoyed the broadcast here. Again, this was the Sector 7 Racing Toyota GR Cup round number 3. This was split number 2, our Pro-Am division. And I am your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming. Remember, you all matter. Stay winning, and we'll catch you all on the next one.